And that's a lovely ball through from Daly. He's got support here. This is going to be a try for Ettinghausen. They won't stop him. Right next door to the posts. And Ettinghausen adds to his tally on this tour. No doubt who the star of the show on this 1990 Kangaroo Tour is. Just ask Wigan, as Ettinghausen helped himself to another hat-trick in the record defeat of the champions. They decide not to kick, they're going to run it. Here's Ettinghausen, and he's on his way to another hat-trick here. Oh, great play, Ettinghausen. Another try for him. His second hat-trick in as many matches. And isn't he delighted? But they're not. It's the fourth match of the Kangaroos tour of Great Britain, and Cumbria provide the only representative opposition outside the tests. They have quite a job on their hands, though, even though this is the midweek team that's been named under the new lights of Derwent Park, the home of Workington Town. Well, hello, we've come just about as far north as rugby league is played in this country to see whether Cumbria can halt the run of success for these mighty Australians. It's 35 straight wins now over the past 12 years, and the size of the task that Cumbria face tonight is mirrored in the statistics of this tour so far. 3 matches played, and needless to say, 3 straight wins. A record victory started the tour at St Helens. It was a bad-tempered affair at Wakefield last week, and the Rugby League champions surrendered to another record score on Sunday. 3 games for the Kangaroos then, 3 wins, 104 points scored. They've run in 21 tries and have conceded only 5 to their opposition so far from the First Division, and they've been hammered out of sight. So what chance for a Cumbrian side picked almost totally from Rugby League's lesser lights?
Phil, it's an awesome task that you've got tonight. Can you approach the game with any sort of confidence?
I think not so much the confidence side for the win. I think we'll go out and enjoy ourselves, and if the win does come, well, by gone, we'll be over the moon. But looking at it, as they say, the awesome task, I think the lads will give 100%, and that's what I'll be asking of them.
But it's been difficult getting the side together for this game.
Yeah, it's been very difficult. We don't know, we've heard wires that some clubs haven't been passing the word on to the players. Some have cried off through injury, and mostly sort of last weekend, where the late injuries come in, and then we really rush for to try and get players in.
But it's a chance at least to establish Cumbria as the name in rugby league and try and sort of build some spirit here and a good bit of attraction for the game in this area.
Oh yes, we always look forward to the Australian games because they're the kingpins at the moment, and the crowds come here just really to watch them, and hopefully that we do the underdog stuff.
The preparations for the game, how much have you been able to see of your players? How often be able to get them together?
We've just been together 3 times, 3 nights. Not enough really. You could actually do it about 3 full days more. But as I said before, they'll always give 100% once you put the jersey on the back.
And so the Cumbrians called for 100% effort by their coach, Phil Kitchen. This is the Australian lineup then that faces them this evening, and what a formidable team it is. It is the midweek side, but just the same, any one of this 13 could figure in a test jersey. Greg Alexander is the full-back. Dale Shearer is on the wing, he wears 2. Cliff Lyons plays in the centres tonight with 3 on his back, alongside the youngest member of the Kangaroo squad, Brad Fittler. And Chris Johns, they know him up here, he had time with Barrow, he's in 5. Kevin Walters took over Wally Lewis's number 6 jersey for the Broncos this year. He's done the same tonight for Australia. And Ricky Stewart, he's the scrum half at 7. In the forwards, David Gillespie wears 8. The vice-captain for tonight, Benny Elias. Mark Sargent is in 10. Mark Carroll wears 11. Mark Geyer completes a formidable second row. And Des Hasler in the unusual number 13 jersey tonight. He's the lock forward. And the coach is Bob Fulton. Big crowd has packed inside Derwent Park tonight to watch this game, despite the fact that it's rained just before the kick-off. But here's the side that they really will be getting behind, we hope, and cheering to what would be a very famous victory. Barry Vickers of Carlisle is the fullback. On the wing, it's Willie Richardson from Whitehaven, and another Whitehaven player in the centres, Billy Fisher. Neil Rooney is a local man from Workington, he wears 4, and one of only 2 First Division players in this side, Chris Rudd from Warrington, in 5. Graham Cameron is the standoff half at 6, and young Dean Marwood from Barrow, he wears 7. Colin Armstrong from Workington wears 8. Gary Mounsey of Whitehaven is the hooker. Stephen Howes, also from Whitehaven, wears 10. He's the other prop. Gary Kendall of Barrow and Peter Riley, local boy from Workington, they complete the second row, with Hull's Russ Walker at loose forward. And the coach, he's been the coach of Cumbria for the last 10 years, Phil Kitchen. Well, I don't know what it is about the midweek fixtures, but they seem to be blighted so far with dreadful weather. The rain really is pouring down here in Cumbria tonight. But there is a man who leads his county, Russ Walker. He has come across from Hull to play in this match. He was transferred from there, He captained Cumbria against New Zealand last year. He was the captain of Barrow, the side that won promotion 2 years ago. Now he's part of the Hull side that sits proudly at the top of the First Division. Russ Walker, the loose forward from Cumbria, and he awaits Benny Elias, the Australian captain for the night, and the formalities will soon be over. The ground is in perfect condition, despite the fact that the rain has fallen for about an hour before this match. But there is the match referee, Jim Smith from Halifax. His biggest night before this, the Lancashire Cup final in 1986. And it's the Australians, by the looks of things, who are going to kick off. So a match that's been eagerly awaited in this part of the world. And everybody here wanting to see just how good this Australian touring team is. And Benny Elias then will get this representative match underway. As I say, the only representative side that the Australians face outside the Test arena. Greg Alexander then gets us underway. And important early moments for these forwards. Gary Kendall of Cumbria, the man in possession. And the Australians, as we've seen in their 3 matches so far, quickly up and putting pressure on these men who normally play in the second division. Apart from him, Russ Walker in 13 and Chris Rudd, who wears 5. Here go Cumbria then. Wouldn't it be marvellous if they really could spring a shot here tonight? Colin Armstrong, the man in possession. And now Marwood will kick ahead, and that's a good kick too. It's as good a kick as we've seen against the Australians on this tour. Alexander, the man though, who picks up. And this is what they'll have to watch, the pace down the flanks. Shearer cuts inside. Good play from Shearer, and eventually brought down. And here's Kevin Walters. He finds Ricky Stewart. Stewart to Benny Elias. Well brought in though by Graham Cameron. That's David Gillespie using his weight against those 3 Cumbrian defenders. There's big Mark Geyer. Good ball inside to Carroll, and there they are over the line already. And the first try on the board from Australia, and big number 11, Mark Carroll from South Sydney, sent off last week. He's opened the try-scoring account for the Kangaroos here tonight. Mike Stevenson.
Well, a very easy try there for the Australians. Mark Geyer, a wonderful ball. You notice how he kept the ball free, away from the tacklers, and Carroll in for an easy try. It was well thought out. Elias, quick play of the ball. Now watch the strength of this guy, the Penrith Tyro, beautiful ball. That really is superb skills. And Carroll does the rest in for an easy try. And I'm afraid that Cumbria will have to tackle a little bit stronger than this. He threw the dummy, and I'm afraid the fullback, Richardson, was all at sea. And in for a very easy point, 4 points.
There's the try scorer, Mark Carroll. Test debut against France in June, and absolutely delighted when he touched down. Alexander with the extras. That was easy to Greg Alexander. And so the Australians have got out of the traps so quickly here that they're ahead by 6 points to 0 already. And that try timed at 1 minute 23 seconds.
Very ominous indeed. Really all Cumbria can look forward to now is just enjoy the game They know that they're up against it. Most of them are second division players. They should just try to relax and get back into as quick as they can.
So Australia back in possession. Stewart, good kick ahead. That's a tester in these conditions. And well brought down and back into play by Richardson. And Australia caught offside at the quick play the ball by the Cumbrians.
That is something that the Australians will have to watch, and I'm sure that the referee is capable of getting the Australians. They move up very quickly. Both centres, watch throughout this game, both centres will move in on a dish-like and try to force Cumbria down the middle.
Here's big Stephen Howes from Whitehaven. He's done well for his club in the pack. He's been the mainstay of the pack. Good tackling again from the Australians. And that's Armstrong looking for support. The support eventually arrives. Richardson, well brought down. Good little break from Richardson, though. The crowd getting behind their players whenever they come forward, the Cumbrians. Here they come again. That's a lovely little kick over the top from Willie Fisher. And surely Fisher was obstructed there by Alexander. The referee says no. Great run, though, from Willie Fisher. And surely was this obstruction?
Well, it looked obstruction to me, but good play by this centre, Fisher. He showed an amazing pace, and as far as I'm concerned, Alexander did take him out. Split second, just too late.
Well, that's the sort of riposte that the Cumbrians will want after that dreadful start for them when they conceded a try in the opening 2 minutes. But, ominously for them, Australia back in possession, but good tackling from the Cumbrians. Elias, this is Stewart, and here comes Mark Geyer again, finds Hasler. Hasler playing at lock forward tonight, but Mike Stevenson, unusual to British viewers to see him in the 13 jersey, not so back at home for you in Australia.
That's correct, Eddie. He plays a lot of lock football for his club, Manly, and he really is a great utility player.
Good work from Russ Walker to smother the ball on that kick ahead. And that's Peter Riley. This now is Gary Mounsey, only brought into the side earlier on today. Mounsey in 9, there he is. Mark Roskell of Warrington pulled out with a virus, and so Mounsey was drafted into the squad. It really has been that sort of a selection headache for Phil Kitchen throughout the preparations for this match. Probably the most important match that Cumbria have faced for a long time. Vickers, the fullback. Good kick ahead. And Chris Johns tidies up at the back, and here goes Chris Johns. He's put the foot down on that pedal. Good tackling, though, from Walker and from Fisher, following up. Des Hasler. Hasler playing in his first full game of this Kangaroo Tour. And the Elias from the dummy half. There's the try scorer, Carroll, trying to keep the ball alive. Good pressure from Cumbria, forcing the Australians back. Cliff Lyons with the kick ahead. Skims off the turf, straight into Barry Vickers' arms. Vickers picks up pace, and Lyons meets him and takes him head on. Marwood. Mounds is the man who's organising at the play the ball. And Stephen Howes feeling the full weight of the Australian defence there. Good tackle from Elias. And the kick ahead from Armstrong, charged down. Referee says they can play on. Good tackling from Hasler. Does well, though, the Cumbrian winger, to keep the ball alive. This is Riley, and now to Marwood, and they're sweeping the ball across the face of play. Howes, good run from him. Mounsey, Walker, and this is the point prop forward Armstrong. They're about 35 metres out. Willie Fisher. Bouncy again, the dummy half. Marwood. Forward laid back again. Marwood attempted drop goal, and he scored it! Oh, that's a great drop goal from the youngster Marwood. Fresh-faced boy, look at him. But my word, the man from Barrow, leading Barrow scorer for last season, with 51 points as they were relegated, and this the reason why, perhaps.
He did well, avoided Elias, and that's a tremendous field goal. And that'll give him a lot of confidence.
Alexander gets the game underway again, but Cumbria back on the scoreboard, and that's important as far as they're concerned. Cumbria 1, the Australian 6. A confidence-boosting drop goal then, as Mike Stevenson so rightly said. The Australians tonight making their 5th visit to Workington. 1-2, lost 2 of their trips up here so far. And the first match involving a tour side here at Derwent Park for 23 years. And the first Cumbrian visit of any sort for the past 8 years. So they've been starved a little bit of representative football up here at Workington. But they've spent about £250,000 on their ground, including these brand new floodlights. Opened just a fortnight ago. And the Australians here tonight to complete the celebrations. The rain easing somewhat, thankfully. And here's Mark Carroll again, picking up pace over the initial 10 metres and colliding into the players. Elias, and he finds Gillespie. Gillespie gives it back to Elias once more, following up. This is Mark Sargent down the middle. The support is there from Kevin Walters, shrugging the tacklers off, looking for Elias, can't get the ball away. Elias was there, ready to swoop. This is the last tackle. And Stewart with the bomb. And this will test this Cumbrian defence. Ball bounces into the arms of number 3, Cliffy Lyons. And Lyons is over in the corner for the second Australian try. Another 4 points for Cliff Lyons, the man from Manly, playing in the centres today, and it all came about as a result of that huge kick from Ricky Stewart.
Wonderful kick by the halfback, and good hands by Lyons, the centre. Normally plays 5'8" for Manly in Sydney, but you probably noticed on the replay, Stewart, an enormous kick. He ran straight towards the post and put every single player onside. Great tactics and a great kick.
So the Australians add 4 points to their score, and Greg Alexander, he was in fine goal-kicking form at Wakefield last week, slotting over 6 goals. Can he make it 2 out of 2 here tonight? That just goes wide of the uprights. And so Greg Alexander doesn't add to his tally on that occasion, but the Australians most certainly have. Cliff Lyons, number 3, with the second try of the night.
Yes, here again. Now watch for Stewart. Look how he runs towards the post, puts every single Australian onside, and an easy try for Lyons.
So he'd be well pleased with that, Cliff Lyons. Cumbria get the game underway again, and here's Mark Carroll. He really does run powerfully. He picks up pace over the first 10 metres. There's the score. And this now is a big test for Cumbria. Can they hold on and keep them within the bounds of respectability? Well, the way they're throwing this ball around in greasy conditions, one fears for the Cumbrian side tonight.
Certainly do. The beautiful ball, but just a little bit too slow as Guy. Probably impeded a little bit there. But they're obviously going to keep this ball alive.
Well, meantime, the Australians have been caught offside, and so it's a penalty to Cumbria. As you see, just about 5 or 6 metres inside their own, the Australian half, and they're going to have a kick at goal here with Barry Vickers by the looks of things.
Well, there's been quite a few breaks by the Australians, but I'm sure the Cumbrians won't be too disheartened, because they've also made quite a few breaks, especially around the rucks.
An important moment for Barry Vickers on his debut tonight. The goal-kicking fullback scored more points for his club, Carlisle, than anyone in their 9-year history. And he's slotted that one over. That's a beauty. Excellent kick from Barry Vickers, and that's the reason why he is his club's leading scorer.
No problem with this one. Right in the middle, and plenty of power. That's a beauty.
So Barry Vickers with the penalty, and Cumbria 3, Australia 10. So they're clinging on to the Aussies' shirt tails, Mike.
They certainly are, and well, is it a penalty? It is. That's gone far too long, and this will give them even more encouragement.
Indeed, it was Greg Alexander's kickoff from the halfway line. It sailed out of sight on the other end of the field, and is this a chance for Vickers to have another pot shot, I wonder? Well, they had a bit of a discussion, and they've elected instead to kick for touch and put the Aussies under a bit of pressure, and that's a great kick from Armstrong. That's taken play down into the Australians' 22.
And that was the right option. Let them have the ball for a while. They're getting themselves sorted out now.
And this is big Colin Armstrong again, driving his way towards that line if he can. The captain Walker caught a little high by Sargent. Referee was in on that very quickly, and this is the reason why the whistle went. A high tackle.
Well, you'll see Guyot holding him there, and Sargent coming through, and that was very late indeed. Very, very late. And Sargent can think himself very lucky he's not spending 5 minutes in the sin bin.
So Russ Walker, the captain, in 13, he has issued his instructions, and Barry Vickers will have another shot at goal here.
That could be one of the problems on the tour for the Australian side, is the fact that quite a few players in the Kangaroos often elect Sargent in picture is one of them, and Mark Geyer to use the shoulder charge. Very dangerous, but for some unknown reason, still in the rules.
Well, here's Vickers. The crowd have gone quiet, hoping he'll slot this one over. And he hasn't this time. It's waved away by the touch judges. I think he's as annoyed as anybody about that. And that really would have put the cat amongst the pigeons here. It remains then at Cumbria 3, the Australians 10. And Stewart with the restart. Cumbria bringing it back into play. Good run from Willie Richardson, the winger. But there's always 3 green and gold jerseys to meet the man in possession with the football. And a tremendous tackle knocks the ball out of his hands, and I think the referee wants attention for the injured player immediately.
Well, here you see Gillespie, and I mentioned the charge. Gillespie, his nickname is Cement, and there were plenty of power and plenty of cement into that tackle. And that's a typical example of the type of tackle that I really should think should be banned from the game. He made no attempt to get his hands to the man with the ball, and I'm sure that the guy is shaking his head and wondering why and what happened.
Well, I said it was a good tackle because the ball spilled from the man's grasp, but there was nothing good about that at all, as our replay showed. It was almost a forearm smash. And the penalty count is going the Cumbrians' way already, 5-0. Now, this time last week, the Australians were very concerned about the penalty count that went against them at Wakefield. But, well, surely 2 referees can't be wrong.
Well, it's a little bit unusual for them, and their coach, Bobby Fulton, always takes time to have a word with the referee well before the game.
There he is, hiding behind the gentleman in the glasses in the crowd, Bob Fulton, and keeping his own statistics. I'm sure he won't be too happy with that penalty count that's gone against his team, but still. Good little kick ahead from Cameron, and well picked up by Greg Alexander. These conditions won't be conducive to fast open play today, I don't think. Very greasy on top, but the pitch in absolutely perfect condition. But the rain that fell just an hour or so before the kickoff really has meant that the players of both sides will be tested here tonight. Sargent down the centre again. Elias was juggling with it, but he keeps hold of it. Crowd again quiet, as all the crowds on this Kangaroo Tour have been so far, just waiting to see what will happen here. That's a good kick ahead by Carroll, and he picks it up himself. Good tackling though there, and then Lyons hacks it ahead, but Fisher just can't keep hold of it first time, but fortunately for him it went back. Referee says play on, and again the Australians caught offside at the play of the ball, so that's 6-0 in penalties to Cumbria.
Yes, Bobby Fulton will be far from impressed with that. But that's the type of play that he wants from his team. They like to creep up on the outside. They don't give the opposition any chance to get that ball out wide.
Well, the Cumbrians will really be taking a bit of heart from this. Here they come again with Kendall. Dear me, it makes you squirm when you watch the tackles going in from even up here. Here's the little scrum half, Marwood. Good ball from him to Cameron. Mounsey again, and Marwood once more. Ball kicked through, was charged down by Australia. They get the ball back. And here they go again. Good run from Fittler. Good play from Alexander in support, looking for the onrushing Kangaroos. Nobody there. Stewart again, and this is Kevin Walters. He finds Lyons. That ball was knocked forward. Hasler punches it out of play. And so, again, a scrum down will be the referee's verdict.
Well, we see the force of play here, forcing the error. Lyons never really had control of that, and his fellow Manly teammate, Hasler, was coming right round him on a move.
Midway through the first half, this is the first scrum of the match. Such has been the pace of this game. Marwood feeds the scrum, and Cumbrians get possession back. This is Chris Rudd of Warrington. He and Russ Walker, the captain, will be facing the Kangaroos again later on in the tour. Rudd for Warrington, and Walker, who's in possession now, for Hull, and they should be two almighty collisions.
Very impressed with this Marwood, Ed. He really has taken control of this Cumbrian side. He's controlling play. Very impressive.
Australia, though, quickly up, aren't they, all the time on that man in possession. Not giving the boys from the second division any time to think, but that's a good kick. And Alexander really does have to retreat to within just 10 metres of his own line. But now he picks up pace because the chasers hadn't arrived. And that's Johns. Well played, Cumbria, though. Keeping the pressure on. Keeping the old pot boiling. Stewart with a long pass to Walters. Now to Lyons. And Lyons with nowhere to go. And he's been caught there by Neil Rooney. This is Mark Sargent. And 3. Bring him down. I must say, Mike, early on in this match here again tonight, like last week, despite the fact that they've scored 2 good tries, not as impressed with the Australian second string as we have been in previous years.
No, they seem to be playing for themselves, but they're trying to get themselves into some organisation now. Ricky Stewart has to take a little bit more control.
That was the last challenge of this set on Brad Fittler. So here's the bomb again from Ricky Stewart. What a good kick it is. Hasler leading the chasers. Ball bounces back. Australia keep it going. Lyons, Hasler. Hasler's heading for the corner. Good play, good backing up, but the ball's dropped, and that's no try. A knock on, and it was on the 6th tackle, and so possession automatically switches to the Cumbrians.
Well, we see Shearer here trying to step round the ball. Well, good play by the Cumbrians then. They reefed that away. That was a try. Good play, good defence, and good thinking.
And those huge kicks from Ricky Stewart, the high kicks underneath the posts, cause havoc for the Cumbrian defence.
Well, they certainly do under lights, and Coach Bobby Fulton and, of course, Ricky Stewart are well aware the higher the ball gets, the harder it is for the opposition to see it.
Cumbria, who are in possession then. They breathe a little sigh of relief there. That looked a yard or two forward, but the referee gives them the benefit of the doubt, Mr. Smith. Still in their own 22, though. They're going to have to kick here, and they do with Vickers. And that's not a bad effort, and it bounces once and goes into touch. Good kick from Vickers, the Carlisle fullback.
Tremendous kick by that fullback there, and really that's the type of kicking that will keep Australia quiet. You can keep Australia in their own quarter, in their own half at least.
Well, 12 months ago, Cumbria played the New Zealand tourists, and they lost in the end by 28 points to 2. And I'm told that that really didn't reflect the way the game went. Phil Kitchen, the Cumbria coach, was telling me this afternoon that they held them at 2 apiece for a good long while, and in the end, just the extra stamina told. And I must say that the Cumbrian players here tonight warming to this task.
Well, after scoring a try in the very first minute, one would have expected, and I'm sure this crowd here also expected, that Cumbrians would perhaps collapse, but they haven't. They've got right into it.
Mind you, with quick hands and quick running like this from Stewart, there are problems. Hasler, good tackle, Vickers. Stopped him dead in his tracks. Great tackle. Australia haven't finished, though. But this is the way that that tackle came about. Great tackle from Vickers. Now, they're just outside the 22, and they are on the last tackle, and they've surrendered possession back.
Quick thinking there by the skipper. He called, no doubt about it, he called for that ball inside to Benny Elias, and Elias gleefully passed it to him.
Rain falling again here in Cumbria. Thunderous tackle by Mark Geyer. And just look at the collision between Geyer and Gary Kendall. Cumbria will kick to relieve the pressure, and the kicking has been excellent so far. And there are 4 players arriving to try and pen Alexander back in his own 22 there. But Alexander's got the legs on Cameron, and they've surrendered possession back. Quick thinking by Gary Mounsey.
Quick thinking indeed, but Australia have to settle things down a little bit. They're trying to be far too fancy in the conditions, and they're playing far too much one-out football, too much individual stuff.
Errors, 6 to Australia and only 2 to Cumbria. And the penalty count is going Cumbria's way as well, 6-0. But unfortunately, the scoreboard's clicking the other way. It's 10-3 to the Australians. And here come the Cumbrians again. Walker. Ooh, he just almost broke the tackle then. Couldn't get the ball out to the supporting players. Back to Marwood. Marwood says, well, let's have a go at what Ricky Stewart does. And there you are, you see, it does cause problems, but unfortunately, Willie Fisher was caught offside. Good kick, though, by Marwood.
Certainly was a very high kick indeed, but Fisher well offside. And I really didn't think that Marwood wanted that ball. He looked a bit confused with it. But as you say, in these conditions, if you can get the ball up high, it causes a lot of problems for the players.
Ricky Stewart then finds touch with the first penalty of the evening for Australia. Good player, Stewart. Former Wallaby, toured with Argentina. And the Australians driving it down the middle again. Elias, Mark Carroll, score of the opening try in the opening minute and a half that really did set the hearts fluttering here on Cumbria. But the county players really have stuck to the task well, and the touch judge is on that far side of the field. There he is, as Fittler went hurtling past him, and he obviously saw something in a tackle. And it's the Cumbrian man who is receiving attention. That looked like Dean Marwood to me.
Well, it looks like Mark Carroll was the man involved. It played the ball, got involved with the Cumbrian player, and there you see the referee saying, "You won't get another chance, boy."
And this is the reason why the penalty was given.
Well, he plays the ball, and you can see after the ball is gone, he holds the player back. It's out of vision, but he gave him a gentle tap. Well, maybe not so gentle.
Another penalty anyway to Cumbria. And I must say, these boys, dragged mainly out of the second division for this match, really are getting stuck in here, Mike. It's good to see.
Certainly is. The most impressive part is their kicking ability, because they're mixing the match in. They're keeping the long ball and the short one, the short grubber, as we've just seen there by the centre Fisher. And they're causing them a few problems. I think this is probably the most breaks that I've seen on this tour against the Australian side.
Australia's ball from the scrum, and the scrums have gone 2-1 in Australia's favour. Elias from dummy half. Carroll is the first receiver, but he spills the ball. And so here come the Cumbrians again with Peter Riley. Now, can Cumbria get across that line? The crowd's getting behind them. Stephen Howes. Now this is Marwood. Tell you what, there's some shoulder charging and tackling going on out there. This time they bring the ball this way. Down the middle goes Armstrong, and he unloads to Richardson. Not too far away, another drop goal attempt perhaps. Another chance. And that one goes over the top as well. Marwood's done the trick again.
Good thinking by the little halfback. He's having a super game, this young kid. And that's the idea. Cumbria making the half break, which must be causing quite a lot of concern. Here's the replay. He positions himself well. The Australians couldn't get anywhere near him, and that's a super field goal.
And half an hour of the match gone. Australia are ahead, but Cumbria sticking to the task well. And I must say, from a British point of view, I know we're only in early days, because we've said for the last couple of games, after half an hour, they've stuck well to the task, but 10-4, there's Phil Kitchen, the Cumbria coach. He must be delighted.
Of course he's delighted, and I think the players are out there enjoying themselves. They could have thrown the towel in, and so often in the past, the opposition have done that against the Kangaroos. This lot isn't going to do that. They're going to play with pride tonight, and it's certainly showing out there on the paddock.
One or two players from the first division didn't come up here to train with Cumbria. Couldn't fancy it. It gave Phil Kitchen all sorts of selection problems. I wonder, as they watch this now at home, what they're thinking.
Well, the thing is, Eddie, that this Cumbrian side, look, they're making ground. They're making the half break. It's just a pity that the Australians' cover defence is so strong. They're very quick to recover from a mistake in a half break.
Great kick from Marwood again. Now, did that take a touch from Chris Johns? It was a lovely kick from Marwood. Johns went diving for it, but he missed it by the looks of things. The referee, I think, says it's going to be an Australia feed.
Well, if Ricky Stewart thought he was going to have an easy game tonight, he certainly found out different. I said earlier that this young kid, Marwood, he's certainly enjoying himself and stamping his authority on the game.
Gary Chambers in 15, and the scrum cap about to come into the action here at Derwent Park. And the man who is replaced is already off the field, Peter Riley. So Chambers goes into the second row. Gary Chambers of Warrington. There's the four-man Riley. He won't see any more of this match.
Well, a penalty going to the Australians there. The lock forward a little bit offside, or should I say a lot offside. Walker broke away from the scrum. The referee had no alternative but to give Australia their penalty.
I think a lot of people, and we must admit, us included perhaps, thought that we might be coming up here purely and simply tonight to admire the skill of the Australians and see an avalanche of points. As I say, it's early days yet, but a very happy man, Phil Kitchen, is on the bench now with Peter Hutton.
Phil, you must be proud of the way things are going.
Yeah, we really took the game to them, like. I think they were a bit surprised how much we have come out. I told you before, and that the lads will give 100% whoever put this jersey on, and by gum, they're giving it so far.
the defence going well for you?
Against Asia, we made 2 slip-ups early on, and here's another, I think, could be now. No, the fullback's done a good job again.
Here's another slip-up, perhaps, as we leave Phil Kitchen, because Shearer's over the line in the corner. And as the Cumbrian coach was talking to us, exactly what he said happened, and 1 or 2 slip-ups in the middle of the field. The ball swung out to this near side, and Dale Shearer over in the corner for another try.
Once again, a wonderful pass from Gaia. He's so strong. Lyons takes it on, once again using the fend. It's a support. That's what the Kangaroos are famous for. There's Elias, the captain for tonight. And Shearer, an easy passage. Nobody there. Look at this pass from Gaia. Beautiful ball. That is perfection. Lyons takes it on. He takes a step, comes to the fullback. The strength pushes him up. Now this is a support play. Elias, the fullback, brought in, and also the wingman. And Shearer does the best to beat the centre.
Excellent play from Shearer, and a wonderful kick from Greg Alexander. It sails between the uprights. He adds the extra 2 points from way out on the right-hand touchline. And the ball whipped straight over the top of those posts. And so Australia have increased the lead by 16 points to 4. I hope that we weren't tempting fate there and saying that Cumbria were doing well.
Well, they are doing well, Eddie. Let's not take anything away from them. I mean, look, everyone expects that this great Australian side will win. That there is no doubt. But if they can hang on until a half-time break, I'm sure that Kitching will get them and build their pride, build their confidence, and we'll make a game of it.
5.5 minutes or thereabouts to go to the half-time siren. Important times for Cumbria. Wigan showed on Sunday that you buckle now against the Australians, and you can say ta-ta to the game. Hasler taking it on again. Good play from Hasler in his first full match for the Australian tourists tonight. Fittler taking it on, and it's continued now by Gaia. Good supporters. Mike Stevenson was talking about Johns being just hauled down. Great stuff from Australia. These are important moments from Cumbria. They could lose the game completely here. Look at the support play. But the referee says he's not happy with that. And is it a penalty? No, it's a forward pass. A forward pass, says the referee. This is the reason why.
Well, Fittler got the ball outside to Alexander, and, well, it didn't look forward to me. Alexander looking a little bit nonplussed, but he's the man in charge, the man in the whistle.
A scrum then, just about 12-15 metres from that line. Cumbria really must run the ball out now. Collision between the 2 full-backs, Alexander and Vickers. Here's Chambers, just about his first touch, the Warrington forward. Harry Kendall being spragged to the floor by Brad Fittler. Had him by the collar and wasn't going to let go, Fittler. And there's an Australian player injured. It's Kevin Walters who's it's Ricky Stewart rather, who's holding his chest. But good kicking game again from Cumbria, pushing the Aussies back into their own half of the field and almost down to their own quarter as Stewart tells the physio exactly what's gone wrong.
Well, that was a great kick again by the Cumbrians, and they must be very, very proud of their effort tonight. They really have taken it to Australia. The only difference being, and of course apart from the fitness and the fact that the Kangaroos have been together for quite some time, is the wonderful ability to back up the man with the ball. Cumbria making that half break, but they just can't finish it off.
And it's Australia's ball from the scrum that was blatantly fed by Mr. Hasler. A penalty to Australia. Referee quickly in for holding down in the tackle. And you see here the reason why.
Well, the referee called held, and Alexander trying to get up to play the ball. And I think he may have taken half a dive there. They're pretty good at that.
Mounsey, the man penalised anyway. Australia have gained more ground as a result of that. This is Sargent. Elias played the ball, Alexander, and that's Gillespie. Lost his footing, looking for the penalty. Referee says play on. Here's Geyer again. Just can't get his pass away. Elias again. This is Kevin Walters. Walters drops the ball. It's hacked on by Hasler. And so knock on, scrum down again. Another mistake from the Aussies.
Yes, they've brought plenty, but that was brought about by eager tackling by the Cumbrians. They've done well in this first half. They've really stuck to their guns.
They forced 9 handling errors from the Australians and committed only 2 themselves. Now, is that a situation where the Australians are trying to play football, keep the ball alive, ping it wide, or are Cumbria forcing the issue?
Well, I think it's a combination of both. I think we've seen 3 times in this first half that the Cumbrians, when one's going low, there's at least 1 or maybe 2 coming in high and trying to reef the ball away. That's the tactics you play in defence in this wet weather football.
So a penalty to Cumbria, and we're into the last minute of normal time in this first half. And I think they'll be well pleased if they go off to the siren at half-time with the score as it is now, because there's no doubt about it, they're not out of it. It's not been a whitewash here. Cumbria 4, the Australians 16.
The big question in the second half for the Cumbrians, can they keep it up? Can the fitness keep this Australian machine? Because they will continue for 80 minutes to back up the man with the ball.
Chambers going without the ball. Lyons picks up the Stewart, thankfully recovered from the injury, gives it to Fittler. I'm so impressed by this fella, he's only 18. But that's good tackling from Walker to bring him down. Shearer from dummy half, Stewart again, long pass out, the length of that pass. Walters. 3, haul him in. Referee, as you saw in the background there, really does shout hell then. Not too far away though from the Cumbria line. This is Mark Carroll trying to go route 1 again. And Vickers has picked up for Cumbria. It's a good effort from the men in the black and white hoops, and there's another penalty against Australia at the play the ball. And the Aussies having a little word with the referee, chipping away at him. Not happy with the decisions.
I'm sure that Benny Elias will be coming over to Cliffy Lyons. That's 3 occasions he's been caught for being offside.
And the Cumbrians keep hold of the ball, despite the attentions of the huge Australian forwards. It's good play from Cumbria, this. Mounsey back to Marwood, and Marwood then brings the ball to the prop forward Armstrong. It's Chris Rudd. And he plays the ball to himself, Rudd. Quick thinking from the Warrington man. Armstrong with the kick ahead, and it went out on the fall, I think. And as it was on the last tackle, it's the handover right on the halfway line. Armstrong acknowledges his mistake. There's the half-time siren, and it's an excellent first half from the Cumbrians' point of view. They were hit cold with a try very early on, but they have fought back and forced the errors from Australia, kicked a couple of good goals themselves. Marwood with a couple of drop goals, and Vickers with a long-range penalty from 45 yards. But it's been 3 tries to the Australians, Carroll, Lyons and Shearer, that gives us the half-time scoreline of Cumbria 4, Australia 16. And that's as close as any of the sides have been at half-time. So well done, the boys from the lesser lights of Cumbria. Cumbria 4, Australia 16. More from Derwent Park after this break.
Australia just taking them apart in the second half.
Carroll I'll hope you're right again tonight, but we'll see what happens. Cumbria's, they're going pretty well. They're playing a very good kicking game, and they can contain us down in their own half, and we find it very hard to get out of their own half.
The tour's gone well for you so far. 3 wins out of 3, only a few points conceded, over 100 scored. But how do you think they compare with the previous tour parties? You've obviously been here plenty of times before.
Yeah, I really think it's a bit too early to start comparing with other tour parties. We've only 4 games old now. I think that at the end of the tour, we're probably a better indication of where we're gone. But it's going all right so far. We're playing each game that comes, and like I said, we're winning by a few points.
Plenty of individual players making their mark so far. Do you think a few may be looking to stay here after the tour's finished?
None of the guys, I don't imagine. I think it's a pretty demanding season, our domestic season over home, and I think that all the guys will be pretty keen to go back home and spend a few summer months home and before they enter into our season again in 1991.
I think that's a point worth making, that particularly those who were involved in the grand final and the playoffs, it's been virtually constant between the end of the Aussie season and coming across here.
Well, we've virtually gone since February. We had a pre-season competition in February, then a season took us through till end of September. Now we're back on the Kangaroo tour right through to December. So we're playing for nearly 10 months of the year. So we need some sort of break before we start up again next year.
Finally, word about the Test party. Do you think that the Test side is decided in Bob Fulton's mind?
No, there's a number of positions still open, particularly in the forward pack. So we'll see how things eventuate tonight, and we've got one more game against Leeds on Sunday, which will be a very hard game for us, and to see how our team performs there before we make up our mind for the first test.
Thanks a lot, Mal.
That's okay.
Mal Meninga, the Australian tour captain, and no wonder he's in good spirits, because 3 matches gone and 3 wins, and at half-time here at Derwent Park, the Australian second string are ahead as well. We'll have the second half for you right after this break. Welcome back to a very wet Derwent Park. There's the half-time score. The Australians ahead, but the Cumbrians, well, they've given us the best first half in terms of scores that we've had on this tour so far. As you see, the rain pouring down here in the northwest of England tonight. And some interesting statistics from that first half. Scrums have gone to the Australians, as you see. But I think the next statistic that's coming up is interesting. That will make interesting reading for Bob Fulton and for Phil Kitchen. Cumbria have had 9 penalties to Australia's 3. And the top tackler for Cumbria, Russ Walker, the captain, leading by example with 18. I can tell you Mounsey has 17 and Pendle 10. And for Australia, well, Benny Elias has got through some work, hasn't he? And Des Hasler has 21 tackles to his name, and Mark Carroll 19. And of course he scored the first try. And there is the top tackler from Australia, tour vice captain Benny Elias. He'd love to get into the Test side if he possibly could, but he's anxious that his midweek men keep this thing going, keep the momentum going, and keep the run going. It's 35 matches, remember, since Australia were last beaten in this country. And there's Russ Walker. His opposite number is also the top tackler of the evening for Cumbria, Russ Walker of Hull. So, the Cumbrians get us underway again. And we just hope here that the Cumbrians can keep the work rate going, that they can keep Australia within their sights, and who knows, from the end of the next 40 minutes, it could be that the Cumbrians have produced the best show of the tour so far. Talking to Phil Kitchen earlier in the week, he'd seen the Australians at St Helens, and he said that he was frightened to death every time he saw them. And I asked him what his aim would be for tonight, and he said just to restrict them to 40 points. Well, his boys have done him proud, but Mike, can they keep it going?
Well, it's going to be very, very hard for them, but if they can continue with their tactical kicking game and play the game down in the Australian half, then they're in with a chance of probably keeping it well below the 40 mark. If they drop off the tackles, and if they don't move up quickly, you cannot give the Australians any latitude, because they'll gleefully accept and produce the tries that they're very famous for.
It certainly has been one of the features of this tour, hasn't it? Right away from the very first whistle, that the British teams have just fallen apart. up towards half-time and in the second half. It's been quite alarming.
Yes, and it really makes me wonder, because the English, well, we've taken virtually everything from the Australians, all the coaching skills, and so many coaches are in England at the moment.
Well, that was a bad kick. It's given possession back to the Australians, and this is Cliff Lyons who's in possession, and it's Mark Geyer who's going from dummy half, and oh well, the defence just melted away as he went on the blind side, hugged the touchline, stayed down there and touched it down very, very easily indeed. And the Cumbrian defence then did melt away, and I hope we're not seeing the end of the Cumbrian challenge here.
Well, that was really bad play by the centre there. Rooney well out of position. Look at that. Geyer through the dummy, and you'll see how easy it was. Now watch for Rooney come inside, just on the picture there. There is number 4. The wingman was there to mark Geyer at the play of the ball, and the centre really should have taken the outside option and not the inside. That's a very simple try, and not surprisingly, the coach is far from happy.
Well, they were caught cold at the start of the first half in 1 minute and 23 seconds. We've timed that try at the start of the second half as 1 minute and 48. Alexander with the kick, who is striking well, but not quite good enough. The ball just goes wide of the posts. But Alexander has had some difficult shots tonight from far out. But it's 20-4 in Australia's favour.
Getting back to that, Eddie, I'm just saying that we've got so many Australian methods here in England, and yet we still can't get the same commitment. And I wonder whether a lot of fingers have to be pointed at the individuals, the players themselves.
Food for thought, I think. Elias from dummy half. This is Geyer again. And let's only hope that from a British point of view and a Cumbrian point of view that the boys in the black and white irregular hoops can hold on, because it looks like Bob Fulton has called for a big effort from his boys at the start of this second half, and they really are producing it. Here's Lyons, but he was looking for the overlapping winger down that touchline. The ball though comes back to Alexander. They were a bit lucky there. Alexander kicks ahead, and this is a chase between Alexander and the ball just won. But the fullback was well and truly beaten with that kick, Alexander, and it just rolled a couple of yards too far.
Well, look at the speed on Alexander here. He took the wrong option. You can't see it in the screen, but on the left-hand side inside, he had support far too long.
So thank goodness for that as far as the Cumbrians are concerned. So Cumbria in possession, midway inside their own half they are now. My word, Carroll going a bit high, oh dear. And that was Armstrong with the mistake. Furious with himself. Here it is again.
The ball is slipped away from this resulting play. The ball Armstrong came through and knocked on.
Just a bit of a high tackle from Mark Carroll there.
Bad play by the Australians there. Walters overrunning the pass. And we'll get plenty more mistakes. The rain is really teeming down here.
Referee not happy. There's Bob Fulton. He doesn't look happy either, does he? Just studying what he's seeing in front of him. I wonder if he's got any question marks in his mind about his test lineup.
I don't think so. I think he's already got the test lineup, despite what Melbourne Inga, the skipper, said just before the break. I really think that Fulton will know his side now.
It's getting a bit slippy out there, you know. But Armstrong, well, that's good stuff from Cumbria. And Marwood, and the support arrives. Oh, what a shame for Cameron. It just spewed from his grasp. The ball must be like a bar of soap again. Johns is caught on that far side. Walters, the acting halfback. Here's Mark Carroll again, driving straight towards the posts. Benny Elias again, Stewart. And this is big Mark Sargent. Elias again. It looked a knock-on to me. It surely was a knock-on. The referee didn't give it. Benny Elias looked as though as he went for that one, he knocked it forward. Well, maybe not. Maybe the referee was right. Anyway, here come the Australians again. Again to Johns on that far side. Last tackle. So will we see another huge kick here from Stewart? No, we won't, because he switched it to Walters. He's given it to Fittler. Fittler's given it to Shearer. Shearer's got plenty of space in front of him. The high kick from Shearer, but it's gone across field. Hasler the first man to it. Elias keeping the ball well. Shearer again. Hoist the kick again underneath the posts. One bounce. It doesn't go dead. The Cumbrians will have to bring it forward with Rooney. And he does reasonably well, getting away from Hasler but not away from Shearer.
Well, full credit to the Australians. They're keeping this ball alive. They know that they've won this game. And they're trying to give this crowd some entertainment.
And that's a penalty to Australia, right underneath the posts. And it's because he failed to play the ball properly, had to play the ball. And they've not decided to kick, they've decided to run it. And perhaps this is the reason why. As Sargent almost went through on his own. Elias drops it, ball goes forward. Back into Cumbria hands. Play on, says the referee. They're pinned on their own line, Mike, and the mistakes are coming. And this is Mark Carroll again. The ball is going all over the place. It is very scrappy, but Australia, as you see, have it. Elias. And this is Sargent again, down the middle. Good play from Gillespie. That looked a bit forward from Hasler, but Hasler's over, and the referee said it was crossing anyway. The try's been disallowed. The referee saying that it was obstruction, and so it's a penalty to Cumbria.
Well, Gillespie gets the ball away, and Hasler, I don't know where he's got the obstruction from. All it looked to me was a forward pass, but he's the man in charge.
Cumbria then in possession, and they'd be glad to get away from their own line. They really will. They've been pinned back there for the last couple of minutes. This is a good run, though. A great run from Chambers. He's got support. He's just had his ankle tapped. He should have held on. He surrendered possession. But what a great run from Chambers, the substitute. Stewart, the man in possession. And he gets the applause. Oh, great run from Elias, right down the middle. He's got Lyons in support. Here's another try for Australia. And that's great play from the men in green and gold again. Cliff Lyons with the try that really will kill Cumbria off. Right after that good run down the middle by Chambers, the Australians bounce back and go over for a simple try.
Bounce back indeed, and here's the man, Benny Elias, the man who stopped a try at one end, and he bounces into the frame to set up this beautiful try for Cliffy Lyons. And the speed of this man, he knows he's going for broke. Look how he dummies to kick, commits the Cumbrian fullback towards him. It's easy running now, a clear run to the line for Lyons. There's Lyons. He won't score an easier four-pointer than that for a long, long time. But great play by the skipper tonight, the touring vice-captain, Benny Elias.
So, Alexander, with that attempt to increase the lead still further. And the man from Penrith, this time, gets the sights absolutely right. Greg Alexander, an 86 tourist, came over as third-choice half-back. They call him Brandy. I think the Brandies might be on him tonight.
Certainly will, and as far as I'm concerned, I'm sure that Bobby Fulton realised that he has to have that man on the bench for the tests. Such a great utility player, can play half-back in the centres and also at full-back, as he's showing tonight.
And Brad Mackay is about to be introduced by Australia's coach Bobby Fulton for Ricky Stewart, who you may remember received treatment earlier on this evening for a knock. Perhaps he's not completely recovered. That's Mark Sargent driving down the middle. Now this, again, is Australia taking the most direct route. Hasler. This is a good piece of play and a good period for the Australians. Shearer. And the full-back Vickers just bringing him down at the second attempt. Alexander. This is where the fitness, I think, is going to tell. And they're up to the last tackle here. So stand by for another huge kick. No, they're going to run it. Alexander, Shearer, off 2 feet. Oh, easy. And right back underneath the posts. Another try for Australia. I think you better settle back in your armchairs and enjoy the display here from the men in the green and gold. I think the match has gone from Cumbria completely. And here, as we were pointing up just after half-time, perhaps the moment when Cumbria collapse.
Well, I'm sure. Look at this woeful attempt by Vickers to try to top Shearer. And I don't believe that Shearer is fully fit. Look at this beautiful pass by from Alexander. Slipped it back inside. See how he drew the opposition. And the fullback won't want to see that replayed too many times. Went far too high. Shearer could duck underneath.
Dale Shearer then, his second try of the match. Meanwhile, the Cumbrians make a substitution as Alexander prepares to take the conversion attempt. Easy for a kicker of Alexander's quality, no trouble at all. And so the Australians are pulling further and further away from Cumbria. There's the scoreline, 32 points to 4. And there is still, on my watch, well, over 25 minutes to go. Gary Kendall has gone off. And Jonathan Neal of St Helens, who was only drafted into the squad this morning, he comes on. So, we were all looking in the record books before the match got underway, and looking at the heavy defeats in the Australian Tour itinerary. 1986, 48-12 against Cumbria, 48-0 against Hull. So they've passed the 40 points many times up here on the northwest coast of England. Cumbria, 47 points conceded in 1978 as well. Meanwhile, Mark Carroll receiving treatment for an injury.
And a well-earned rest by both sides here. Carroll receiving treatment. And I think a record score still isn't out of the question. Cumbria really have to get better tackles than that one by the fullback.
I think Cumbria will be delighted with that break in play. Penalty at the scrum, offside against Brad Mackay, the substitute. Now in the first half we saw Cumbria have a pot-shot at goal from that range. No point now. They've taken it to within 20 metres out as a result of Armstrong's kick. So can they give the crowd something to shout about here? Jonathan Neal, who was a substitute in the match that we had to kick off this tour on the Sports Channel at St Helens. And see, there's Armstrong again. They really have put their foot on the throttle in this second half, Australia. A quarter of an hour of the second half gone. And there is Graham Cameron from Whitehaven. Just remember again, they're all mostly from the second division, these players, so they can't hope to have the same level of fitness as the Kangaroos. But my word, they have done well up to half-time, and unfortunately they have folded after the break. But there's a high kick to test Alexander. That is how you take high kicks. Copybook lesson for any youngster watching, as Alexander in the driving rain went for this one.
Beautiful. Watch how he goes. He's called for it. Beautiful takeoff and beautiful accept of a very high bomb indeed. And that's the confidence that makes me think that he certainly is one of the great players in the world today.
Greg Alexander of Penrith and Australia. Well, Ricky Stewart is off the field injured. Peter Hutton is down on the trainer's bench and can bring us up to date with the latest news on Stewart's condition in a moment. Meanwhile, play continues. We'll have that report from Peter Hutton shortly. And, well, they are fallible. They can drop the ball, but in these conditions, no wonder. I wonder what it is about Wednesday nights. The rain streamed down at Wakefield, and the people of Cumbria are getting drenched to the skin. But they're enjoying seeing the Australian tourists, of that there's no doubt.
The big problem, of course, though, Eddie, you said that the Australians, they put the foot on the accelerator, but they also keep this wonderful defence up.
They're being caught a number of times what they play the ball, aren't they?
Yes, the gaps have appeared there. So there is a little bit of a chink in the armour. But their cover defence, they always seem to get back so quickly.
Well, it's Leeds who are next on Sunday. And then it's the test match at Wembley a week on Saturday. Don't forget, all matches you can see right here on the Sports Channel. I wonder what thoughts going through the British boys' minds as we approach that first test. Can they come up with an historic win at Wembley? Well, you will see right here on the Sports Channel. Meanwhile, Cumbria have got a bit of work to do to get back in this one, but they're playing quite well at the moment. That's good play, but just the last pass goes astray. Mounsey tried to hack it ahead. Brings muted applause from round the ground. It's a scrum down.
Well, here we see once again some good play. Step inside. The hooker just couldn't get there. It really was a bad effort to the pass. But they found the breaks.
Shearer in possession again then for Australia. And there is Mackay. I think the poor old Cumbria boys will know they've been in a match here tonight. And another mistake. Caused as much by the conditions as by Cumbria's pressure, but let's see if they can get in for a try. That's Rudd on that far side. Good tackling from Carroll and from Geyer. This is the thing that's impressed me throughout this tour. Although they sail into an unassailable lead, well, they'll die for each other on the line, the Australians, won't they?
They certainly will, and we mentioned earlier, Eddie, that they are making that half break, and once they make it, the green and gold seem to come from all over. They just never give in.
Right, let's get that update on Ricky Stewart's injury. Peter Hutton on touchline.
Well, the news on Stewart is he's got a bruised sternum. That's the official word from the Australian bench, which means to you and me, it's the top half of the chest, and that's causing a few bits of worry.
A hat-trick for Dale Shearer, meanwhile, as Stewart receives treatment in the changing rooms. Dale Shearer becomes the second hat-trick man of this tour. Andrew Ettinghausen, who wore 2 in the Sunday matches against St Helens and Wigan, showed him the way home. It must be something about that number 2 green and gold jersey, because it went from one end of the field to the other and just settle back and enjoy this try from Dale Shearer.
Well, we saw it start with Lions. They never want to give up the ball. Even though there was only 5 metres from their own line, it came out so Alexander could make the break and left Shearer an easy run underneath the sticks. The beauty of it is that they want to keep this ball alive. Normally teams close it down in their own quarter, not the green and golds. And there's a beautiful pass by the fullback to send Shearer in for the hat-trick. As Eddie mentioned, the third hat-trick on the tour for the number 2 shirt.
Dale Shearer with the hat-trick of tries for him. That number 2 jersey is the magical one on this tour. And while we were watching that, Alexander with the kick. And he has added the extras. And so the Australians increase the lead still further. And the score now is Australia 38, Cumbria 4. The rain hammering down, but there's no dampening the enthusiasm of these Australians for this game. As Mike Stevenson so rightly said, they support the man, they don't want the ball to die. They just keep rolling forward and forward and forward, and whenever Cumbria or whatever opposition it happens to be are in possession, well, they're back in numbers, and they simply won't let them through.
That's right, Eddie, but full credit to both sides. They, in atrocious conditions, they've given, well, a wonderful display of football. They could have shut the game down, Australia. They haven't. They've tried to run it, and so could the Cumbrians. And they've tried to keep the ball alive. It's been good stuff.
Here they come again. Lyons has got Shearer outside here. Now, has Shearer got the legs? Well, he can run straight through the tackle from Barry Vickers, but the Australians just halted on the 22, but here they come again. Oh, and that's great stuff from Sargent. It takes 3 to bring him down eventually, and the way they've moved the ball again from one end of the field to the other. Alexander, Gillespie drops it. Ball didn't go back. Referee's whistle sounds. Respite for Cumbria.
Well, Gillespie won't be pleased with this. He really should have sent the ball through. He knows it. And is disappointed. He had 2 men outside him. When it's such an easy win, they know they've got the game well and truly wrapped up. A little bit of individual play often creeps in.
And that's Billy Fisher, who needs some repairs. I think he had a haircut this morning.
Bit similar to mine, Eddie.
He had his cut though, Mike. Well, the tries have come from all over the field for Australia. 3 to Dale Shearer. I suppose it really does keep the pressure on Fulton, doesn't it, before he announces his squad and his team for the test next week.
Well, he was very subtle on the weekend in bringing in those reserves for the Wigan game. He doesn't have to tell the players the first 13 that's out there when you know that the likes of Alexander have sat on the bench. And Stewart, of course. And they'll be trying very, very hard, but I don't think there'll be many from this particular showing tonight that will force their way into a test spot.
Well, there's 1 or 2 who will, I think, have designs on a test spot, and they'll be trying to convince the coach that they should be included, but not with passes like that from Kevin Walters.
Well, once again, we see the Australian trying to keep the ball alive. Johns coming inside far too early.
Cumbria get possession from the scrum, though. This is Paul Penrice, who's on for the winger Chris Rudd. Penrice, the top Workington try scorer for the past couple of years. He played against New Zealand last season. But just now it's a question, as it has been really throughout this tour, that the game, from a British point of view, has gone. And the night belongs to the Australians. And I think we should all just settle back and enjoy the sort of play that the Australians can turn on occasions like this. This is the last tackle. Walters manages to keep it alive again. See the way they do this. But that's good play from Graham Cameron. Brad Mackay. Talking to our colleagues from Channel 10 over the weekend, Graham Hughes in particular, he said that there are 28 over here from Australia. There could be another 50 on the plane. They're so good. The depth of talent over there is such.
That's the problem, Eddie, and that's the question I was wanted to be answered earlier, is the fact that if the English have got all these Australian methods, then I wonder whether the players have that same commitment that the Australian youngsters have when they come through. They really train every day. They want to play that green and gold. I hope that the red, white and blue, that the guys in England will want to do the same thing.
Elias scores a super try in that far side, as Mike was talking. It went from one end of the field of the park to the other.
Well, they keep the ball alive, as we see here. Gillespie, look, he could have gone down quite happy. And a lovely dummy by Elias. And really, it's all skill Watch this, a blindside move by the fullback Alexander. Gillespie, he could have died with it, he didn't. Look at the little dummy, that's all it takes. Just got Marwood on the hop and enough room to get in at the corner.
But there were so many green and gold jerseys there supporting the player. He had 4 or 5 options. If he didn't want to take it himself, he could have tossed it inside and they would have been over for a try anyway. Alexander with the attempted conversion. Full of intensity he was as he shaped to take that kick. Slight smile. But 42 points to 4 it is. And again, on their visit to Cumbria, the Australians have topped the 40-point mark on a dreadful night at Derwent Park. But you've got to take your hats off in conditions like this to the Australians, the fact that they can play football like that and run up 42 points. And a penalty to Australia on the halfway line because Armstrong's kick ahead didn't bounce in the field of play. It went out on the full. And so it's a penalty to Australia, and Alexander gratefully will take them down again to within 20 metres of the Cumbrian try line.
Now just watch the Australians, how eager they want to take the ball up.
Well, a bit too, oh my word, a push in the back, and he won't enjoy that. Mr. Sargent. Playful tap from Brad Gillespie saying never mind, get on with it. Let's hope, as the game has now gone, the Cumbrians aren't going to try and win the fight. Norman Lofthouse of Whitehaven comes on, and Vickers is the player who's gone off. Barry Vickers, the fullback, who hasn't done too badly. There's Norman Lofthouse, the Duncan Goodhue lookalike. Like a late tackle, and the touch judge is on. The referee hasn't seen it. It'll be held up in a moment once the referee catches sight of the yellow flag. There he is. Saw a late tackle. And the referee will have a word with his touch judge once Benny Elias departs.
Well, they really didn't need that. Didn't follow it through, but still lifted his shoulder and elbow. Could have been a very bad collision. I think he's just winded the boy.
And there is the offender, Gillespie, who goes off. And there is the man, Glenn Lazarus, who comes on.
Yeah, good play by Fulton there. I think he was seeing that Gillespie was getting a little bit wound up, as we saw at Wakefield last week.
Yes, he was sent off there after the full-time whistle. Ten minutes to go then. The Australians have another match wrapped up here. Maybe the Cumbrians can just give us something to cheer about as we approach full-time. Marwood juggling with it. Quite lucky to get away with that as Elias closed in on him. Good kick ahead from Cameron. And they were employing that kicking game in the first half. And I'm just trying to think back. I think that's only about the second or third good kick ahead that we've seen in this second 40 minutes.
Yes, they really haven't had much opportunity to take control of this game in the second half. It's been all Australia. But that sort of kicking did keep the score down in the first 40 minutes. But they're in very, very rampaging mood now, the Kangaroos.
That was Mark Carroll making his way to the bench, and Bob Lindner in 16 has replaced him. A penalty to Australia, meanwhile, at the scrum. Australia will restart then. Midway inside their own half they are. Here's Cliff Lyons. He showed a great appetite for this game tonight. Lindner, here's the first touch from him, but he got a foot into touch as Lofthouse closed in on him. So a scrum down.
Well, Lindner didn't think that he'd gone in touch. I'm sure Lofthouse and the touch judge disagree.
Here's Lofthouse. He's worked hard tonight, Colin Armstrong. Made a few decent breaks. And let's not forget, of course, before Australia really turned the screw, there was that run down the middle from Gary Chambers. And it could have been such a different story had that one gone over.
Certainly could have, but I don't think there's any doubt that everyone expected Australia to win and win quite convincingly. But the Cumbrians can feel very proud. I think that the forwards especially, and Alexander's just...
Whoa, look at this. Look at this from Alexander. How many has he gone through? And he's created a try here, surely. Oh no, Lofthouse did well, just got the hand to it. Trying to anticipate the try for the Australians. Lofthouse had other ideas. But what a run from Greg Alexander. And remember, this fellow in number 1 jersey tonight, he isn't in the test lineup, we don't think.
Well, Hasler trying to get the ball out there, but Lofthouse, Johnny on the spot. There was 4 men outside. A certain try, he saved.
Cumbria then back in possession. But for how long? Here's Chambers again. Marauding run from him. That's better. Now, come on. Let's see if we can get a try. Oh, he's still going. And that's Cameron. This is the tall centre. That's Fisher. Fisher to Lofthouse. Ball played infield to Richardson. And Cumbria supporters come alive for a moment or two and really do get behind their side. That was good to watch. Penrice on not too long. He's got the cleanest jersey on the pitch. Good little kick ahead. Oh, and it's broken free. It's a try, is it? Will the referee be kind? He will. Good kick from Marwood. He's been kicking well all evening. And Willie Richardson, the man I think credited with this touchdown. Here it is.
Well, this lad deserves this. It was a beautiful pinpointed kick. Shearer made a meal of it. Richardson, he got there. The referee had no doubt about that. But this youngster, straight through the legs of Mackay, took a ricochet, took it away from Shearer. But Richardson was there, definite try. And the crowd go wild here, and why not? They fully deserve that.
Persistence pays. And I said, will the referee be kind? And he was. He didn't need to be. It was a clear-cut try. So an attempt here to add a couple more for Graham Cameron. And he has done. Biggest cheer of the night. Well done, Cameron. Well done, Cumbria. They haven't given up the ghost yet.
Look at this wonderful break here. And really, they've made a lot of breaks here, Cumbria. Chambers, he's shown a lot of pace. Kept the ball moving. It really was great play by the Cumbrians.
Well done, Gary Chambers, who set that run up. Man from Warrington, 42-10. But nothing that the Australians could do about that, good as they were, and good as they are. So well done, Cumbria. They've given us something to shout about towards the end of this match. 4 minutes to go. But the green and gold machine rumbles on. Match number 36 without defeat. Well, I've said it, I think, on every match. Mike, who's going to stop them?
It's going to be very difficult, but full credit.
You said that as well.
To be quite sure with Eddie, they are a very, very good side. But full credit to both sides, and full credit to the crowd. No one's leaving. It's been entertaining stuff in real atrocious conditions.
Still going, Cumbria. I can see this team going through Great Britain undefeated again, I must say. I know the tests are up and coming, but there's such strength and depth and such pace and such power. Who is going to stop them?
Well, the Australians are pretty confident about it, especially about half a dozen of them, because they've backed themselves at very good odds to go through the entire tour. So there could be a big drink at the end of this one.
Certainly could. We'll have to be close to the mic as the tour progressive to make sure we get our share of something from them. Marwood, though, meanwhile, the Cumbrians aren't waving the white flag just yet. And they've got the Australians at the moment on the back foot. Lyons knocks the ball down.
They really have tried, Cumbria. They've tried to keep this ball alive, but I've been quite impressed with their tactics, especially the kicking in the first half. And they've tried to mix it with some of the play. They've taken it blind, they've switched to long ball. They certainly haven't been overawed. It's only been the strength, the speed, and of course the fitness that's told today.
Yes, they can hold their heads up high, the boys from Cumbria. Of that, there's no doubt. They certainly matched Australia up to half-time. They were as close as Wigan. Also, in fact, they were closer than Wigan and St Helens. But just now, I think there are at least 13 very, very tired young men out there in the black and white hoops. Armstrong again. Now then, they keep going with Howes. Mounsey gives it to Marwood. He thought about the kick. Cameron hacks it ahead. And Walters has to be quick, and was.
Once again, we saw Cumbria use that kick. And in these conditions, it's very good. Little short grubber. But we keep repeating it. The green and gold always seem to recover very quickly.
$42 points to 10 then. They've kept them down to less than the half century so far. Let's hope they can as we approach full time. On my watch, just 60 seconds to go, so it looks odds on that they'll keep them down to below 50. The pass goes nowhere. Fortunately for the Australians, Lyons is the man first to react, and he gives it to Hasler. Hasler coming in on the inside. Alexander just took his eye off the ball for a moment with a knock on. Handling errors might make interesting reading. 20 to Australia, 12 to Cumbria. I think they've enjoyed their first tour match here at Derwent Park for 23 years. A bit of local feeling that perhaps the game should have gone to Whitehaven, but I think absolutely right that it comes here to Workington with these new lights and all the grand improvements that Workington Town have had to do. And the attendance somewhere between 6,000 or 7,000, so that will justify the decision. And is it basketball or volleyball they're playing out there? Oh, well done, Cumbria, keeping it going right to the full-time siren. Can Cumbria get another try? When Chambers is in possession, anything's possible. Jonathan Neal down the middle, stopped by 3. Look at the way that they're still tackling so late in the game, so far ahead. And yet the tackling is just as keen as in the first minute. Lofthouse hacks ahead, and it just rolls into touch. It groans and sighs all around this ground. Norman Lofthouse, one of the characters of the game.
Certainly is, and there's a full-time hooter. The replay. And once again, the kicking game has split the Australian defence.
But it all matters naught now, because the Australians courtesy of 3 tries from that man, Dale Shearer, have run in convincing winners here again tonight. Benny Elias, the vice-captain on the tour, the captain of this midweek team, will sign the autographs as he leaves the field. But my word, they are going to take some stopping, this team, whether it be midweek or Sunday teams that we see on the sports channel here. But credit to Cumbria, they've battled all the way through. They just run out of steam in the end. 42-10 to the Australians then. We'll tidy up the details for you in a moment. But just now, Dale Shearer is talking to Peter Hutton.
Well, Dale, a dreadful night in Cumbria, but a good night for you.
Yeah, it certainly was. We've got a great win under the conditions.
And also a chance for you to maybe make a point as the test team is finalised in Bob Holden's mind.
Well, that's true, but I think with that injury it didn't help, and Andrew Eddinghausen has grabbed the opportunity, and he's been playing exceptionally well, and we'll probably hold that spot, but I'll just have to keep plugging away and hopefully work myself back into that team.
Obviously a big margin between the sides, but did Cumbria make you work for the victory?
Oh, I certainly think so, especially there early. You know, it was only a try in it really, and it's only the second half that we come out and scored early again. I think that's when we started to get on top of them.
And clearly everyone in the side is all intent on getting that unbeaten run again.
Yeah, we certainly are. It's a hard feat, but we've got away to a pretty good start, and hopefully we can continue it.
Thanks a lot, Dale.
Thanks, man.
Thanks very much. Dale Shearer, hat-trick hero for Australia here tonight as the crowd wend their way home. There's the full-time score. Cumbria 10 points, Australia 42. So the bandwagon rolls on for the Kangaroos, the green and gold marching through Great Britain, unbeaten still on this 1990 tour. We'll have some more reaction for you from Derwent Park right after this break. And so let's just wrap up the details of the match here in Workington. Cumbria going down by 42 points to 10, as you see. Tries for Australia from Carroll, 2 from Lyons, the hat-trick man Dale Shearer, Gaia and Elias, and Greg Alexander kicked 5 goals. Cumbria, they didn't give up right to the final siren. A try from Richardson. They were the last team to score a try. Goals, a couple of drop goals from Marwood, and 1 apiece for Vickers and Cameron. 42-10 then. Peter Hutton now with some more reaction to that Australian victory.
Russ, in the end, a heavy defeat, but are you proud of the way Cumbria played?
Yeah, I certainly am. We knew it was going to be a very hard game tonight, and, you know, their support play was tremendous. They were busting tackles every now and again, and, you know, our defence was really good. But, you know, even though we got well beat, I'm proud of the players. They played really well. They never give up. They went for 80 minutes, and we got the last try of the game. You know, we just kept plugging away, and we got a try in the end.
That last try must have given you plenty of satisfaction.
Yeah, it certainly did, because, you know, we worked hard for it. We got a couple of times we got near, but we found their line very hard to bust. And, you know, just longer the game went on, we had a few good spells here and there. Pity we couldn't put it, you know, longer spells together. But, you know, right near the end, we kept going and we got a try.
And it's some sort of result after a game which was very difficult to prepare for. The side couldn't get together, the big names weren't here.
Yeah, it certainly is. You know, it's a Cumbria team, but you've got players coming from all over the rugby world, you know, in Britain, like. And obviously, we've got to fit our own league programme in with it. So it means, you know, quite a lot of travelling, you know, hundreds of miles just for a training session. And you have like 3 sessions together, and then you come together on the day. And, you know, a lot of lads, everyone's thrown in together, and they just got to try and do the best they can on the night. And, you know, they performed really well tonight.
Well, Ricky, first of all, the injury, how bad's the problem?
Well, I copped a bit of an elbow to the chest, but with a bit of physiotherapy, it should be okay.
For the team, though, a good night tonight.
Yeah, it was a good win, but we didn't play very well. We were very disappointed with the effort, not with the effort, but with the quality of play we put on. We dropped a lot of ball and fell off a lot of tackles, and it's not the way we play. We can play a lot better than that, and we're a little bit upset with it.
Do you think it was a touch of overconfidence coming into the game?
No, not overconfidence. I mean, you've got to play with confidence. I'm a firm believer that whenever you run onto the football paddock, you've got to be confident. You've got to be confident in the team and confident in your own play. I think it was just probably the conditions. It was very slippery. I know the other team also dropped the ball quite a little bit, and it's something that we've got to practice, and with defence, I mean, it's just that it's your own commitment, and that's where that'll come back to yourself, and hopefully we don't fall off as many tackles next time.
How keyed up are the tour party for games like this, though? Perhaps the more unglamorous games.
Oh well, no, I mean, we just take each game as it comes. We prepare ourselves each week. 3 to 4 days before which game you're going to be playing in, so you've got ample time to prepare yourself. And I mean, personally, it's hard for me to speak on other people's behalf, but personally, I take these games as serious as any other game.
And clearly everyone wants certainly a place in the test team, but perhaps for the midweek side, a place on the subs bench.
Yeah, well, that's right. Everybody's got the ability to play in the test team, but the team that's playing as the number one team at the moment are going very well, and it'll be very hard to push your way into that team. But a spot on the bench would be great, but it's a long tour and you never know what can happen.
Final question about the English opposition so far. Are they better or worse than you expected?
Oh no, they're better than I expected, but this is the first experience I've had playing against an English team or an English tour. But the opposition's a lot better than I thought. Their attack is what I think has improved a lot.
Clearly there's a lot of competition between the Australian players. Does it affect the relationships within the squad?
Oh no, we get on pretty well. Everyone gets on well, and we get out there and just play the game the hardest we can go.
What about the rest of the time? Do you socialise together? Are you able to go out much to see Manchester?
Oh yeah, we get out a bit. We don't overdo ourselves, but we get the odd night out and that.
So what's the best thing about Britain so far? You've been there plenty of times before, but what's the best bit of the tour so far?
We haven't been beaten yet, so that's probably the bit. Oh, it's been great. The weather's been pretty good. It's the first bit of shower tonight, and just hopefully we can get some more better weather.
Dean, what were your feelings in that game then?
Oh, it was brilliant. The pace was really fast, but it was a dream come true for me. It's only every 4 years these tour, so I'm really chuffed.
What are the Australians like to play against?
They're just that strong, the forwards are they run that straight and strong. They're hard to handle, but the backs are really quick, and if they get a break, they're just on the end of them. They're tough, like.
You didn't feel intimidated with those forwards coming at you?
Oh no, I was. Mr. Kitchen keyed us up pretty good, and we just went out and did our best,
Those drop goals must have given you some satisfaction as well.
Oh, it settled me down a bit early on, and I needed settling down, and my nerves was a bit before the match, but once I got on the pitch, I was okay.
You're pleased with the night then?
Oh, chuffed, yeah.
So there it is, Australia winners again in dreadful conditions here at Workington. Next stop, it's Headingley for the match with Leeds on Sunday, the last stop before the first test. The 82 and 86 Kangaroos went through their tours unbeaten. The 1990 vintage seems to be just as good.